Hey guys, welcome back to another video. DirtShark32 here, and today we're going to be doing an update on the Galaxie. Now, if you guys watched the original video of Cold Start, and I believe I did a tour of it, then you guys remember that this has been a project car for quite a while now. New things with it. Got some new wheels and tires. It originally had 14-inch rims and tires on it. We upgraded to 15s. Quite a few differences with this thing. One major thing is it's missing a grill. As you may be wondering, I did actually get this car running. I had it running, drove good, even got a couple trip permits for it. I was going to drive it to my graduation. They did a thing called Senior Cruise. Kitty cat. Anyway, they did a thing called Senior Cruise, and where everybody drives their cars around the school. I did that with it. Ended up idling for about 3 hours. Now I had problem after problem with this car. Heading there, stopped at a local gas station. Now it's about 7 miles from my house to in town. To the nearest gas station. So I went from my house, picked up my buddy, went to town, stopped at the gas station. Stopped at the gas station, put 30 bucks in the car. That 97 octane carbureted vehicles like that. Put 97 in it. And went to go pull out on the road, and my fuel pump went out. Now I had an electric fuel pump hooked up because I was having fuel issues with this car. So I hooked up an electric fuel pump, and it ended up working out pretty good. Brand new $70 electric fuel pump went out. Dead. So I just so happened to get lucky. I still had the manual pump hooked up on the block, and it still had the hard line and the rubber line coming off of it. So I hooked it up, got fuel, went and did that. Ended up idling for about 3 hours, and I don't know what was happening, but it started sounding like it was running out of gas, doing the carburetor dieseling sound, if you guys have ever heard that. Basically sounds like it's starving for fuel. Dealt with that. Got it figured out. Got to a local restaurant to let the car cool down. Ate some food. Came back outside, car wouldn't idle. Fire up, die. Fire up, die. Did that for about 30 seconds or so. Then it finally fired up and sat there and idled. Okay, cool. Drove to the parts house, got fresh oil and an oil filter. Fire up, die, fire up, die. Fired up, and then it wouldn't idle. So I had to hold this thing at about half, 3/4 throttle all the way through town. And I live in a small town. There's one stoplight. Naturally, that one stoplight's red. So, in the master cylinder on this car is bad, so you got to pump the brakes to get pressure. So that was fun. Flipped around to my buddy, his brother's place was about a block away from the parts house. Flipped around. Got there, car died. Okay, that's weird. Open up the hood. No fuel at the filter. So we decided, okay, we had a gallon of gas. Dumped it in the gas tank. That gave us just enough time to be able to get fuel up to the filter and make it to the gas station. So I'm going to the gas station. Still won't idle at this point. Get to the gas station. Put my last like 24 bucks in. And this time it was the cheap stuff. Still idling. Not wanting to idle. You know, it's running really bad at this point. Get to my buddy's house, car dies. Finally I say, screw it. Open up the hood. Take off my air cleaner. This car spat off every single vacuum cap and vacuum line that I had on the carburetor. That's why it wasn't running good. So, put new vacuum caps on, put zip ties on, called it good. Don't mind the meowing. That's just the cat. It ran, idled great, drove amazing. Drove it home, did the oil change, shut it off, drove it into town and back that night. Next day, messing around with it, and we were going to take senior photos like you normally do. And fired it up, and it was not idling very well at all. Sounded like it had a miss. Wasn't sure. Advanced the timing just a tiny bit. It ran good, idled good. Okay, cool. Once it warmed up, backed it down a little bit to where it normally had to be. Figured, okay, well, I'm running a car without a choke. It was just cold. So, driving it back and forth about a mile down to the corner on the straight stretch out here. Driving it down to that corner and back, that's about a mile distance. So driving it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Finally, it's getting to the point where I'll go down and I'll hit a bump, and the car will kind of run a little weird, and then it'll run just fine. Bikes. Car will run a little weird, run just fine. Turn around, come back. Same bump, run a little weird, run just fine, come back. About the 4th or 5th time doing that, came through and it just started popping, backfiring, just not sounding good at all, and then a big boom, just boom, and it died. There it sat, flat towed it home, checked the distributor, car jumped timing. Which, if you guys know about these cars, you know a timing change is a little bit of a bitch. Excuse me, kitty kitty. That's a 390. Change timing, you have to take off this entire front end of this motor, take out the water pump, timing cover, get to your timing chain, all that sort of stuff. So I do that, replace the timing chain, got a nice double roller timing chain, bought a brand new carb for it, put the carb on, did all that stuff, fired it up, knock, 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 knock. So it's got a rod knock now, so it needs a new motor. Either that or maybe it's still out of time, I don't know. We're going to have to figure that out. I might mess with it a little bit, but we'll see. As you guys can tell, I did clean up this motor quite a bit. Put a lot of work into this thing. Brand new fuel pump, brand new alternator, all new ignition stuff. Just, I even painted up my fenders. New solenoid, new negative terminal, all that sort of fancy stuff. Painted it up, looked pretty. Even did my valve covers. Lots and lots of work into it, but that's just how stuff goes. But yeah, I mean, it's been a fairly decent car. It was a fairly decent car for the little bit that I drove it. Cleaned up the interior quite a bit. Definitely looked decent. There's my air cleaner in there. Now, one thing that I am going to be doing with this car, which as you guys may know, is this quarter panel here is beat up. When we got the car, there was a big dent in it. Pulled it out best we could. I even had to do a lot of stretching, I guess you could say, to get the new tires to fit because it would rub real bad. So, a couple weeks ago, I picked up this, another quarter panel for it. It's not straight, it's got the rust, kinked, so this is all bent out. Back here is all rusted out. But all that I need is this. That's all I need, right there. So eventually I'm going to be replacing that, well, a chunk of the quarter panel, I should say. But yep, going to be replacing a chunk of the quarter panel. Going to fab up a chunk to make that door straight. As you can tell, it's beat up. I got to figure out something for the rocker. I don't want this car immaculate straight. I just want to get rid of the majority of it. Oh, and I'm sure a lot of you guys know, but we've been dealing with a lot of the wildfire smoke out here. It's been really bad. I mean, I can look directly at the sun and there's literally no problem. It don't show up on camera, but it's actually really smoky out here. It smells oddly enough like wood glue, if that makes sense. But yeah, I guess we had a big deal of smoke come in from California and Oregon. I'm in western Washington. Yeah, oh wait, you guys can't see that yet, but yeah. So anyway, guys, this is a Galaxie. It's going to be one of the next project cars next to the tan dually that's way over there. Also, you know what, may as well show it to you. That's also going to be a project car. Not sure if it's going to be a derby car or a race car yet. And Yeah, we have the front clip off of a rig right now. I just recently, I guess you could say, rebuilt the motor, or whatever you want to call it. Definitely high horsepower motor. That thing right there. I'll do a video on that. But yeah, guys, I haven't posted a video in a while. Obviously, derbies got canceled due to the coronavirus stuff that's been going on. The car's over there sitting and ready. It just need to have a race or a derby. So that's why there hasn't been very many videos. So, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.